Somewhere right now, a beginner is carefully tending a jar that will never grow a single mushroom. Not in a month, not in a year, not ever. And they have no idea, because the mushroom they picked was doomed the moment they clicked buy. That is the gentle version of what goes wrong. The darker versions send people to the emergency room, or bring a knock on the door from the police, or worse. One mushroom on today's list wears the exact same innocent baby face as a fungus that has killed entire families at the dinner table. So here is the part nobody tells you when you open your first grow kit. Edible does not mean growable, and a mushroom can be perfectly safe on a plate and still be a disaster in your closet. Some refuse to fruit because they secretly need a living tree they will never find indoors. Some pump so many spores into the air that you spend weeks breathing them in. Some hide a deadly twin you cannot tell apart in time. And some are simply against the law to grow. So before you spend your money, your time, and your hope, let me walk you through 5 mushrooms beginners keep reaching for, and why each one is a trap. First, a quick word on why your closet is harder than it looks. A grow tent is a warm, damp box, and mold and bacteria love those conditions as much as your mushroom does. When a culture is slow or fussy, contamination wins the race. Some species also release heavy spore loads that can bother your lungs over weeks in a small room. The mushroom is rarely the problem. The conditions it demands are. Let us start with the most heartbreaking one, because people pour months into it. The morel. In French, it is the morel, and in spring it sells for hundreds of dollars a pound, dried. That honeycomb cap is unmistakable, and naturally every new grower wants to crack it. The problem is biology. Most morel species are mycorrhizal, which means they live in a quiet partnership with the roots of living trees. Pull them away from that tree, and they simply will not produce. You can grow beautiful white fuzz on your jars for months and never see a single mushroom. Now this is where it gets strange. The name to know is Ronald Ower. In 1982, this mycologist became the first person ever to fruit a morel inside a controlled chamber at San Francisco State University. It was a genuine breakthrough, and almost nobody mentions what happened next. Ower was killed in a street crime before his patent was even issued in 1986. And decades later, scientists realized the one morel he had managed to tame was misidentified the whole time. It was not the famous yellow morel at all. It was a different, tree-independent species called Morchella rufobrunea. The entire indoor morel industry was quietly built on a case of mistaken identity. Even today, commercial morel farms open, struggle with crashing yields and bacterial infections, and close. Part of the problem is the morel life cycle itself. Before it fruits, the fungus forms a hard underground knot called a sclerotium, and coaxing that knot to wake up on cue is brutally unpredictable. Miss the timing and you get nothing, or a tray overrun by mold. So what should you grow instead? Oyster mushrooms. They are fast, forgiving, they fruit on almost anything, and a beginner can harvest a flush in a couple of weeks. Start there, and let the morel stay a treasure of the spring hunt. Speaking of treasures that fight back, let me show you the second one. The chanterelle. The French call it the girole, the Germans the pfifferling, and that golden apricot-scented funnel is one of the most loved wild mushrooms on earth. I used to think growing them was just a matter of patience, but the truth is more stubborn than that. Chanterelles are deeply mycorrhizal, even more so than morels. They wrap themselves around the roots of oak, pine, and beech, and trade sugars with the tree, in a relationship that can take years to form. There is no jar, no substrate bag, and no grow tent that can fake an entire forest. There is a quieter danger too. Chanterelles have a look-alike, the jack-o'-lantern mushroom, which glows a similar orange in the same season, but will make you violently sick. So the chanterelle fails new growers twice over. It will not be cultivated, and it tempts people into risky foraging instead. And the failure rate is humbling. After more than a century of trying, no one has built a reliable commercial chanterelle farm. The flavor you love comes partly from that wild partnership of soil, tree, and weather. Strip it away, and you strip away the mushroom. So instead of fighting biology, grow something gourmet that actually cooperates indoors. King oyster mushrooms give you a thick, meaty texture, and lion's mane offers a delicate seafood-like flavor, and both reward a beginner. The chanterelle stays where it belongs, out in the woods, waiting for you to find it. The third one is a different kind of mistake. It can actually put you in the hospital. The fly agaric. You already know this mushroom even if you have never named it. Bright red cap, white dots. The storybook toadstool from video games and fairy tales. In German, it is the Fliegenpilz. People romanticize it endlessly, and every season someone tries to grow that look at home. Two problems. First, like the morel and the chanterelle, the fly agaric is mycorrhizal. It bonds with birch, pine, and spruce, so it will never fruit in your closet. Second, and this matters far more, it is genuinely toxic. It carries compounds called ibotenic acid and muscimol that act on the nervous system and can cause severe nausea, confusion, and worse. You will read online that some cultures, including indigenous peoples of Siberia, prepared the fly agaric for ritual use after careful processing. That history is real, but it is not a how-to guide. Copying a half-remembered version from a forum is how people end up poisoned. And this is the mistake that sounds harmless, until it isn't. The fly agaric belongs to the amanita family, which is the single most dangerous group of mushrooms on the planet. That family includes the death cap and the destroying angel, species that have killed people who were sure they knew what they were picking. So here is the honest answer. Do not try to grow it, and please do not try to prepare it. If you love that red and white look, photograph it in the wild, where it is beautiful and safe to admire. And if you want real color in your fruiting chamber, grow wine cap or pink oyster mushrooms. You get the visual payoff with none of the risk. The fourth one is where a lot of curious beginners get themselves in real trouble. Magic mushrooms. The psilocybin genus. Interest has exploded lately because early clinical work is studying psilocybin for conditions like treatment-resistant depression, and that research is genuinely promising. But the line people miss is simple. That work happens in supervised clinical settings and a handful of licensed programs in places like Oregon and Colorado. Growing them yourself at home is a completely different story. Across the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia, cultivating psilocybin mushrooms is illegal, and in most places, it is treated as drug manufacturing, which carries serious penalties. A grow tent in your closet is not a research lab, and the law does not see it that way. I used to think this was just internet paranoia, but the legal reality is blunt. Even in the few regions where supervised therapy is allowed, that permission does not extend to your kitchen. If the wellness side is what draws you in, grow mushrooms that are legal everywhere and still carry real, studied benefits. Lion's mane is being researched for its possible support of nerve health and focus. Reishi, the mushroom that Chinese tradition calls lingji, has been studied for immune support. Neither one breaks any law, and both give a beginner something real to learn and to brew into tea. That brings us to the fifth mushroom, and this is the one that genuinely scares experts. The paddy straw mushroom. In Chinese cooking, it is tao gu, the straw mushroom, and worldwide, it is the third most eaten mushroom there is. It grows on rice straw, it has been cultivated for more than 300 years, and it tastes wonderful. So why is it on this list? Because of its twin. In its young button stage, the paddy straw mushroom is nearly identical to one of the deadliest fungi alive, the death cap, Amanita phalloides. Both emerge from an egg-like sac called a vulva, and at that stage, even careful eyes cannot reliably tell them apart. And this is the part that should stop you cold. This exact mix-up is the leading cause of fatal mushroom poisoning in the United States. There are documented tragedies. Families in Oregon needing liver transplants. A dinner in Canberra, Australia, where guests were served misidentified mushrooms and people died. The death cap does not grow where straw mushrooms grow naturally. So newcomers reaching for a taste of home are the ones most often caught. There is one feature experts use to tell them apart. A straw mushroom drops a pink, salmon-colored spore print, and a death cap drops a white one. But you only see that once the cap opens, and the dangerous stage is the closed button, when both look like the same little egg. That is why this confusion stays deadly. Indoors, there is a second problem. Straw mushrooms demand tropical heat and humidity, the exact conditions that invite mold and bacteria, and they spoil within a day of harvest. They also grow on compost, where they can soak up heavy metals from a dirty substrate. It is a contamination magnet. So unless you are buying a clean, verified culture, do not gamble. For a safe start, grow white button mushrooms or a tested oyster kit, where you always know what you have. So there they are. 5 mushrooms that look tempting and turn out to be traps, for 5 different reasons. The morel and the chanterelle will not grow because they need a tree you cannot fake. The fly agaric is toxic and mycorrhizal. Magic mushrooms are illegal to cultivate. And the paddy straw hides a deadly look-alike. The growers who do well are the ones who respect what each species actually needs, and who know when a mushroom is better admired in the wild than forced into a closet. If this video is informative, then comment yes. That motivates us to produce more videos like this. Tell me which one surprised you most, and what I should cover next.